federal lawsuit could change who can afford to become an advanced nurse or a healthcare provider. 25 states, including Wisconsin, are suing the Trump administration over new limits on federal student loans for grad programs. The rules lets a short list of professional degrees like medicine and law borrow more money, but it excludes nursing, physical therapy, and nurse anesthesia. Critics say that will price students out of advanced practice roles and worsen the healthcare worker shortage, especially for rural areas. The administration argues most programs still fit under those caps, though. It says the change is really meant to pressure schools into lowering tuition. The state court of